Welcome again to today's celebration of a very important day. Something, of course, every day for the devotee, for the disciple, is Guru Purnima, in the sense that we worship and remember and attune ourselves with the Guru. It's something that should be common with us in all moments of our lives, but we take a special day to particularly honor the Guru, and today's that day. And when we speak of the Guru, it's easy to be able to think in terms of we have an image, perhaps we personify the Guru in a murti or in a picture, or perhaps we're fortunate enough to have a Guru, a living presence in front of us, and we see that image or that personality, that person, in terms of their, maybe even of their personalities. We see them as the Guru. And of course, we give honor to that. And so we offer ourselves, we offer flowers, and we recognize the importance of that personage in our lives. But it's also important for us to remember that the Guru is something more than that form. The Guru is something more than that outward expression. And it's a universal principle. And in the highest sense, you could say Guru is God. God is the Guru, and it maybe also a better way to say that, because when we say God is the Guru, we're likely to think in terms of the small, you might say the small expression. But of course, an expression is just a symbol, or you might say a vehicle for something larger. And so God is the Guru, and this is the ancient tradition that the Guru represents. And I think Sri Yukteswar said it very nicely once. He said, the spoken voice of God, in terms of that, you could say that the universal expresses uniquely through those individuals or those instruments that are perfectly in tune with that universal presence. And so they're the window, the opening through which the Guru can reach down to us and to those people who are open to be able to receive it. Now, Swami Kriyananda would often speak about the Guru-disciple relationship, the relationship between that individual receptor of one who wants to draw those teachings of the divine through the Guru into their lives. And that's a very sacred relationship. And Paramahansa Yogananda even begins his autobiography of a yogi by referencing that principle of the disciple-guru relationship as having been the backbone to sustain the Vedic tradition, the culture of India throughout the millennia, that and the individual's search for verities, internal verities or truth, that individual's desire. So you have these two elements, and then with that desire, we draw a response from the universe. Now, I don't in any way mean to second guess pastors with that paragraph, but when I read that paragraph, it motivated me. And as the time went on, though, I began to think about the guru-disciple relationship, and I think it's one element too that I think all of us need to add to that is that we want truth. God responds through the instrument of the Guru. But then something more is needed. And that's, I think, you might say, what we learn on the spiritual path. And that something more is needed is our job as the disciple is to open ourselves to the truth that the Guru represents. You see, many people, they call, God, come to me, Lord. And of course, the spiritual path has to begin with that. The Guru doesn't come unless there's an extreme desire, that search for eternal verities. When that search becomes fervent, when it becomes consuming, the universe responds, and God responds in many different ways. God responds, through through circumstances in our life. God responds through giving us certain guidance. Circumstances direct us in one direction or another. Perhaps we come across a book. I know in my own life, I came across Autobiography of a Yogi, and so even before that, I was directed to spiritual books in general, a general interest in spirituality, and we're guided in very subtle ways. These seeds that are within us, you might say, when we begin to awaken and we begin to realize and call to the universe, those seeds become watered. And those little seeds, perhaps, probably from past lives that have been planted in the past, they begin to awaken within us. And slowly, slowly, we're offered more, and we're offered more. And so from what perhaps you read a book, or you meet a person, or something inspires you, and a little seed is awakened within you. And you say, I want more of that, because you felt a certain joy. I think it's the joy of recognition. When sometimes you perhaps you recognize a flavor, or perhaps an odor, and a memory is stimulated from something in the past. Oh, I remember that. And an event happens in your life, and it seems familiar to you, and it's a wonderful feeling that, oh, I recognize that. What is that? And it's something deep within ourselves that life begins to supply us with, and we recognize that. It's ultimately, probably on the deepest level, it's a recognition of our own oneness with God. But then God manifests for each individual as in a particular way. And we begin to recognize, and we begin to follow. I want more of that. And you begin to slowly follow through books. You meet somebody. Eventually, that draws you, that string that you're following pulls you until maybe you find a teacher. And ultimately, you recognize, you come to a guru. You're blessed with that. Now, I said there's this other element. Yes, the guru-disciple relationship, that quest that each of us have. But one of the things that people realize or don't realize and come to realize is the necessity for making oneself receptive to be able to draw that to ourselves. Because life, you could say, is offering us responses and guidance in every moment of our lives, but we're looking, where is it? And we can't find it, but it's right there in front of us. I remember when Sadhana Devi and I, we have a daughter. She's grown up now, all grown up on her own. But when she was very little, we would every in springtime, there's this tradition. Why it should be, I don't know, but it's called an Easter. The tradition of Easter, there's an Easter egg hunt, where you color eggs, and you go out in some part of nature, maybe, or it could be even indoors, but you hide them somewhere. And then you get all the little children to come, and they hunt for the eggs. And of course, they have a little basket, and they put their eggs in the basket. Well, we took our daughter, she must have been 2-3 years old. I don't remember what she was. Anyway, she could walk. She had a nice little dress on, and so it was very young. And took her to her first Easter egg hunt, and it was in an outdoor setting. And she didn't know exactly what it was supposed to do, but she looked about, and all the other kids were there. And we says, oh, we're going to hunt for the eggs. And says, oh, great, I want to find eggs. And she hunted and hunted and hunted and couldn't find any. So what I would do is I took her, I says, oh, let's look over here. And we'd go to a bush where I knew one of the eggs was hiding behind a little plant. And I says, let's look here. And then and then I had to take her right in front of that egg. And she'd say, oh, look, an egg. And she'd take the egg and put her back in the basket. And she was so happy. I've found an egg. And it was very cute. Then we found two or three more that way. And she felt I did it all myself. But it, of course, the parent is there guiding. And so it is. We have to be, something is right in front of us sometimes. We can't see it. We can't see it. And eventually, there's a guiding hand. You might say the Guru's hand is right behind us, guiding us until we can actually see that which is right in front of us. And ultimately, we begin to recognize that, yes, the Guru is behind that guiding hand, directing me to everything. Now, I came to an understanding in my own life of this principle, and because I have told this story many times, but it was a very impressed itself upon me very strongly that when I was first came on to these teachings and this principle, I was very eager to understand the principle of the Guru. And to me, the Guru represented, Paramahansa Yogananda represents the Guru, is the Guru for me. But it was a personality, a person who had a historical background. And I wanted to understand how do I receive that guidance within myself? And I came to the realization one day, it was, that word epiphany. All of a sudden you realize something is there, like the egg is right in front of you. You've been looking at it all the time, but you never could see it. And then all of a sudden it clarifies. Or like one of those pictures where there's a hidden image in the picture. If you could only see it in the right way, you'd see it. And one day that picture, that image was hidden in, clarified for me, and it was what the Guru was. And I realized that everything that I was speaking to or imagining, the universe itself was a representation of the Guru, or maybe I should say that the other way around. The Guru was the embodiment of the universe itself that was talking to me in my mind. And I noticed that the thoughts that I was thinking, why am I thinking those thoughts? Who is thinking these thoughts? Am I talking to myself? And I realized every thought that was going through my mind, that was the universe speaking to me. That was the Guru speaking to me. And now, perhaps I projected this idea, but I found it made the Guru real to me, that the Guru is speaking to me in everything that happens in my life. Every thought that comes across is being sent to me. You could say God is sending. The universe itself is representative. And my ability to receive that is dependent, of course, upon my ability to grow in maturity, to see that which is right before me. And what is right before all of us is God. God is speaking to us in everything, the flowers, the circumstances that come into our lives, the individual tests and trials, even those things that are difficult. It's life itself is God. Life is God. God is life. God is the Guru. Guru is life. Guru is all of those elements that we struggle with during our day-to-day life. And difficulty comes to us and we say, I don't want this. I don't want this. I want the Guru in all his beauty. I want God in all his beauty. And he's coming to us in a difficult situation. That too is God. That's God coming to us with a particular test or challenge that is demanding or calling up, summoning up from us a response. And so we tend to push God away from ourselves. I don't want that. I want something else, God. But this is what I'm offering you. As that story master gave the one devotee pink rose or a certain colored rose, and the devotee says, I don't want that. I want a red rose. And he said to her, what I give, you take. And everything that comes to us is what God is giving us. in a sense. God and the Guru is the representation of that. I see whatever God gives me as what Master is giving me, God is giving me. And eventually, of course, we develop this relationship with the universe itself, that we're dancing together in thy light. Me and God, me and Guru, we're dancing together as my eternal companion. And the representation of that, because it's difficult to think cosmically in these terms all the time, we represent that in the outward image of our Guru, perhaps the Murti of the Guru, and the very embodiment of that, if we have, we're blessed to have the Guru in form, is simply a channel. A Guru is a channel for that divine cosmic presence. Now, I wanted to share with you a few things too. How do we know? Because I get this question quite a bit. How do we know that perhaps we don't yet have a Guru in our life? We haven't formed that relationship with whether a Guru is past or living in our lives. How do we know? Maybe we're new onto these teachings, and how do we know that these teachings even is right for us? Because you find people saying, I'm seeking the spiritual path, or I'm seeking a teacher, and is this the right one? Is that the right one? And what are the signs? And one of the first things I would say is, particularly when a person is new to it, that memory, you could say, is jogged. We recognize something from the past. Don't be swayed by excitement or popularity. Now you see that egg in front of you. Oh, I'm excited. There's sense of recognition. But sometimes it's just that excitement needs to be tempered with a little bit of wisdom as well, because I think that the ability to recognize, and this is for anybody, disciple or non-disciple, one of the marks of wisdom on the spiritual path is coming to the realization and the recognition that we are influenced. And now the question is, now that's not bad, because it's just a fact. We are, as long as we're in this body, we're in this ego, we are going to be influenced. But to be able to recognize what those influences are, and then to choose the influences that are going to be positive for us, push us in the right direction. That's the mark of a beginning wisdom in a disciple, in anybody who's seeking truth. So we can be swayed by excitement, popularity. True guidance inwardly should inspire a sense of inspiration. Not that outward excitement, but an inner excitement, if you will, and an inner calm feeling of recognition. Oh, that's what I want. In other words, it's an expression of some joy, but it's a calm joy. It's not an outward, the latest popular thing. Now, then, if you're coming to new teachings, do those teachings correspond to the reality as you have experienced? In other words, common sense. Because sometimes people say, this is the newest thing. Every year there's a new diet book or a new approach to truth, or this is the latest thing, the greatest. And some of them are not really corresponding to reality as we know it. And so how do you sift through that? And well, that common sense is, you could say, a correspondence to reality as you have experienced it. But we have to realize too that we haven't experienced everything. So but is it in the direction that it makes sense to us? Or is it fantastical? Go for the commonsensical approach, but be open to possibilities and test it. And any true teaching should be able to be tested. If it's so fantastical, it must be accepted simply on pure belief. Be wary, because truth must be tested. This is the science of religion, you see, is what Master said. And science demands testing. And that's why The great ones, they give us techniques, they give us methods by which we can actually test. And so, can the guru be tested? They invite that. We don't want to accept the guru simply on belief. People think, oh, I'm being devotionally faithful. But no, you accept and you allow for the possibility and you test. Does this really work? Is this really true? And if it's true, it will be able to be passed the test. Or if you can't yet test it because some things are too much beyond our experience, have others who we trust, have they experienced it? Now, when I read the autobiography of a yogi, it was too much for me. I couldn't believe all that. It was too beyond my personal experience, but I felt the sincerity of the author. And so I said, I just feel this is true, but I can't say it's true because I haven't seen Lady Mahashaya appear in a wheat field, and, or these sorts of things. But I felt there's the possibility for truth to that. And then I met Swami Kriyananda, who I trusted, and I went by his experience, and he says, I can testify that what Master said in that autobiography is true. And you too, he speaking to me, you too can experience this. And here is the way that you can do that so that you can test it for yourself to come to your own conclusions, you see, because ultimately it comes back upon us. I can't rely entirely on others forever, but I can rely upon them to guide me in a direction where I can find out for myself. So a true teaching is something that expands our knowledge. Does the teachings conform? Does what the guru says, does it conform to what the scriptures have said throughout time? If it does not correspond, be wary. There is no new truth ever in this world. Truth is eternal. Truth is always, in the truth thousands of years ago is truth today. Facts change, circumstances change, but the essential truth and spiritual truth does not change. When somebody asks Paramahansa Yogananda, is this a new religion? He says, oh no, you cannot have a new religion. There's only one, Sanatana Dharma, but it's a new expression. And truth expresses itself according to the particular age. And so you could say another judge a teaching, judge a teacher, judge a guru by its fruits. In other words, as the saying goes, a fig tree produce sweet fruit? And yes, if it does, well then you partake of that fruit. Or does it not? And I think you would have to look at what are the fruits of a great teaching, what are the fruits of a guru, is the production of, does it bring happiness? Does it bring joy? Does it bring harmony? Or does it lead to the opposite of that? And particularly the fruits of a great teacher are the disciples, the influence of the disciples, the influence of the teacher, the accomplishments, not necessarily outer accomplishments in terms of a great organization or works, but the accomplishments inwardly. Does it produce joy in the disciples? Does it produce joy in other people? Now, as we said, we have the guru. You could say the guru is the universe itself. I see master is a representation of God in the macro sense, but there's also that individuality, and of a teacher, of a guru in form. And if you're new, searching for that, does that teacher, and this applies whether that teacher is a guru or not, is that teacher interested in drawing students to himself, or is that teacher interested in drawing new students to God? And this is what a guru is. A guru draws souls to God. Master Paramahansa Yogananda would not let people call him a guru. When people would say, "Oh, I understand you're the guru," he says, "No, God is the guru." He would never draw people to himself. He always pointed to the higher point. And I use this expression, this image, when I met Swami Kriyananda. I was very taken by him as an individual. He's a talented man, he's genius in many ways, but he never presented himself that way. His job, he felt, was to introduce people to the Guru. So consequently, you go to the host at a party, welcomes you and introduces you to everybody else, maybe not to themselves. And so the Guru introduces us to God. And I think also you would ask the question when judging a teaching, judging a teacher, judging a path, are you benefited? Now, this is not something on a day-to-day immediacy, but you have to look back over the last, how long it ever it might have been. Have you changed? Has it benefited you? Now, that benefit, of course, is in the highest sense. Has it taken you to what you really want in life? Your highest potential. Has it drawn that out? Do you feel that blessing? Do you feel a sense of joyfulness? Do you feel a sense of inner peace, a comfort, calmness? Those deeper things that we want, not the outer things, but have you benefited? Have you become a better person? Have you become more mature? Have your sympathies expanded? And all of these things, when we put ourselves in the company, whether physically, put ourselves, but more importantly, spiritually, we put ourselves in attunement with the ray that a guru represents. Do we feel a sense of, that's what I want? And if you do, then you know you're on the right path. That expanding. But then a person, often the doubting Thomases of the world, say, well, yes, but maybe there's a better one. Well, maybe so. But remember, the job of a guru, a true guru, is to take you to God. And if a guru recognizes that perhaps another path is your real path, but still, why not use the path that's offered you right now? And if that is a true guru, true path, it will guide you in the future to the right path. So consequently, now I feel my path, of course, is through this the teachings that I've been following my whole life. But I say, well, Guruji, if there's another path in the next lifetime, you're going to have to take me to it. You're going to have to show me. My little intellect can't figure these things out. I leave it to you to take me to the right path in all things, and you will guide me. Whatever's best, you will see. And that's what the job of every guru is. But it comes back to us, beginning with that quest to want to know God, to want to be in tune with the Guru, to want to submit ourselves, to want to wash away this ego veil that separates us from true truth, from truly knowing who and what we are, and truly knowing what this universe and this spiritual path and what is revealed behind that veil. And it starts with us in that openness of heart to be able to take that in. And when the universe recognizes that this person is serious, we ourselves, you could say, draw that response, but the universe then responds. It's through 50% God's grace, 25% the Guru's effort on our behalf, and 25% of our own blessings added to that. And as Master would say, it's that 25% that we have to invest, you could say, ante into the game as our ante. And then we find the Guru, and God as the Guru comes into our life with their blessings. And so on Guru Purnima, we recognize that. We honor that. But Guru Purnima is also every day. Every day is the remembrance that the life we live, that whatever is happening to us in life, don't push it away. Say, Guru, thank you, God. Thank you, Guru. This is for me. This is the blessings that have come to me in whatever form it is. And with your support, with your help, I am going to face whatever it is that life is offering me today in your company and in your presence, because it's just God, it's just a merely you behind the scenes offering this situation for me. I may not like it, but I accept. And it's my challenge to be able to respond to it appropriately with you by my side, holding both hands at once, God and Guru. You could say one on one side, one on the other, but we know it's all one. So remember, today's Guru Purnima, but tomorrow also spiritually is Guru Purnima, and the day after that, and the day after that. So God bless all of you, and let's infuse this presence within ourselves today, and then let's be instruments of the Guru and share these blessings with everybody. God bless.